What's up guys, it's Freebs back here with another video, and we're gonna talk about the patch notes for Split 2 of Season 29 of Apex Legends. So let's get into it. In these patch notes there are some legend balancing changes, a new shotgun hop-up, which I talked about in the previous video for the designer patch notes, some quality of life, and there is a section of news on the anti-cheat front as well. As you guys may have seen, Respawn put out a blog post a couple of days ago. The state of the anti-cheat system. They explained some things, some new features established to prevent cheaters, some numbers as well. One number I saw is they banned 79 cheaters on console, and that's for all the consoles, so for PlayStation, Xbox and Switch. 79 of 300 Apex Predator players was banned, so that's pretty crazy. But let's get into the gameplay specific changes for new Split, starting with Ballistic. The dev note is Ballistic has been strong in the past, but after a bunch of nerfs, it's fallen close to the bottom in pick rate. We wanted to bring some of his power back, but we understand it was pretty frustrating to fight against in his prime. The goal with the tactical buff is to bring back some of the previous numbers, but we want to add more counterplay options for the victims. The speed boost on the ultimate was also very powerful, but it could make Ballistic's team very difficult to fight. Ballistic's ability kit, they mean with that. Instead, we're only giving a sprint boost, which should still allow for fast pushes as a team, but not a speed advantage during the fight. For the passive, the Ballistic now respawns with string weapon in all game modes. And for his tactical, there's a lot of info here. Overheat now only applies to one weapon. If a player has a weapon out when hit by Whistler, the overheat debuff applies only to that as a weapon. If the player is unarmed when hit by Whistler, it applies to the weapon in the first weapon slot. Overheat no longer degrades when not firing or swapping to another weapon. Overheat does not increment when swapping to another weapon and shooting. Overheat damage increased from 15 to 50. That's massive. Overheat debuff duration increased from 12 to 15. Tactical charges increased from 1 to 2. Which is kind of not that big, but it will be felt. Decreased time between firing and when homing activates. The overheat debuff no longer reapplies if you hit someone who is already overheating, and you cannot apply it to multiple guns on the same player. Moving on to Ballistic's ultimate kit. Ballistic and teammates within range get a sprint boost when its ultimate is activated. Previously, only Ballistic got a speed boost. Sprint boost will only apply a speed boost while sprinting and will not speed up other types of movement. What I will say about this sprint boost thing is that Ballistic would get enough of a buff to the overall kit, and specifically the speed boost, that it would challenge Axel as the, first man in fragger type of legend. And Axel's kit is so much about the speed boost, and it doesn't seem, at least reading these patch notes, that it doesn't even compare close to Axel's speed boost. So I don't really think, just reading it now, that it will challenge Axel as the #1 entry fragger legend right now. But we'll see. For the upgrades, for level 2, there's the extra bullet perk, gain an additional tactical charge and trap mode. When placed in the world, Ballistic's K tactical lasts 15 seconds and deals 35 damage if an enemy walks into it. And for level 3, quiet time, Ballistic's tactical no longer applies overheat. Instead it adds silence and slow when hit. It also has a longer cooldown. Killing time, now moved to level 3, still provides a 15-second extension to Ballistic's ultimate. And that's Ballistic's kit. And I don't really have much to say about this. I like the overall buffs. I don't think it's gonna be overpowered. I don't think it's gonna be in like a competitive meta. I don't think it's gonna overtake Axel as the #1 entry fragger character. Maybe it's more viable now in ranked. Maybe it's not worthless as it had been for now since some time. Let's move to next legend though. This is getting buff, and that's Pathfinder. The nav note for this is your favorite friendly robot has been a bit outclassed by other skirmishers who wanted to touch the uptime on his abilities to help him keep pace and improve his upgrades to be more in line with other legends that get perks from other classes. For the passive, Pathfinder now tucks in his legs while riding horizontal zip lines. This should make him a little harder to hit when riding on his ultimate and other zip lines in the world. And remember, this is only for the horizontal zip lines, not vertical zip lines. I mean, good change, but it's not gonna matter a whole lot. And for the tactical charges increase from 1 to 2. Remove the progressive cooldown, and it's now at flat 20 seconds. Increase launch speed of the zipline projectile for ultimate. And reduce the cooldown from 3 minutes to 2 minutes. And I don't think it's nearly enough. 3 minutes was egregious. And 2 minutes is still pretty bad. It's just a zipline, man. Even if it's a fast zipline that makes that you don't take a lot of damage. I don't know. It's really bad. Still really bad for his ultimate. And for the upgrades, level 2, field research. Now grants all the weakened perks instead of just the server beacon scan. And Ringmaster now grants all controller perks instead of just the ring console access. What I will say about this, all recon perks, that means also threat vision. So from 1 to 2 things. And threat vision is, well, ADSing basically. And overshield, so 1 extra shield if you choose the controller perks. The level 3 perk, landing gear, I'm pretty sure that's the same as the Vantage and Horizon one. Like the gravity boost. But I'm not really sure. I'm pretty sure the same, but it confuses me a bit. I think that's the same one. But let's move to Seer now. Seer saw a bit of an uptick after his last set of buffs, but settled back down towards the bottom is Dev Note. He is, however, seeing some play in high-ranked lobbies, so we know he has potential. For this update, we focus on quality of life buffs. We've done a pass on making his passive and tactical more responsive. And for the passive, increase the activation speed of the heartbeat sensor, decrease the interval time between heartbeats, decrease the activation time for unarmed ADSing, made the delay when aiming more consistent between weapon and unarmed. This means the heartbeat sensor will appear at the same time regardless of the weapon you're using. That last thing with the delay when aiming more consistent between weapon and unarmed. They're basically making the heartbeat sensor more like a heartbeat sensor, not a nerfed heartbeat sensor, which it has been for some time now. I don't think this makes the character extremely broken. It makes it easier, of course, to scan them and stun your enemies. It makes it more viable, both in ranked and in competitive. I think it's this, and I don't think it's overboard. For tactical, they reduce the delay between launch and hit. Improve the slow when hit. Should now halt faster moving legends more effectively. And for the ultimate, upon deployment, there is now a quick 2-second scan of the area which will highlight an enemy in the area. Enemies that enter the area of its deploy will also be scanned for 2 seconds. Cloaked enemies will now show footsteps if they are within the ultimate zone. Yeah, I know people are scared that Seer becomes way too overpowered with how ridiculous the character was. Like around season 13 and all that. But I think it's... I mean, quality of life changes. I think this is gonna make the character more viable. I don't think it's gonna make it overpowered. I think it's gonna be fine. But we'll see. It's one thing reading, you know, statistics and all the text, and how it will actually play in the game will be the deciding factor. So we'll see. For Axel, the #1 character in the game. Dev note, Axel has undeniably pushed the pace of play. With these nerfs, we want to target the areas that cause the most frustration while staying true to her identity as an aggressive lateral speedster with team utility. Considering the popularity of her Super Slider upgrade, her tactical has simply been available too frequently. I agree with that. nullifying much of the risks that should be considered when overextending. We also saw an opportunity to have some agency to kickstart victims when evading or destroying the drone simply isn't an option. We have already covered the hotfix from the 29th, which reduced the maximum world count from 3 to 2 regarding a tactical, and reduced the HP from 150 to 100. And for this upcoming patch for Split 2, for the passive or tactical, knocked players can no longer slide across zip codes as Axel or while under the effect of a nitrogate. They can still boost through a nitrogate, but once the effect times out, they will slow down accordingly, which I feel like is a good change, because as a down player, being able to just speed boost, slide from one POI to another, which was kind of ridiculous. It's a good change. And for upgrades, the Super Slide upgrade no longer grants a second tactical charge, instead it now grants Nitrogate a 5-second cooldown reduction and a +1 max in world count. For the ultimate, kickstart now displays as victims on a parabolic arc based on the velocity of the moment of the impact instead of straight up. So not the enemy that gets hit by it doesn't go straight up. So maybe it's similar to like when you get stunned by a Mad Maggie ball, like you go up a little and a little down, one or the other direction. So we'll see how it goes, but not straight up. And they reduced the enemy highlight duration slightly to better match stun duration. Moving on to Mad Maggie, the dev note. Maggie has been a top performer for a while, and with the rise of Gabe, she's seeing even more play. She's doing a lot, and the tactical is completely controlling the battlefield. Her ultimate creates an issue similar to previous air ballistic, which I don't agree with, because the previous air ballistic was fucking insane, and it isn't close to that consistent and overpowered as the previous air ballistic was. But alas, the previous air ballistic with added speed boost is making players very difficult to lock down. I don't agree with that at all. Anyways, in this case, we're introducing a series of nerfs to bring her pick rate down to a more healthy space. Increase cooldown from 22 seconds to 28 seconds. I don't think this was an issue at all. I feel like you can be very ineffective with how you use the kit for Mad Maggie. With tactical and the Maggie Ball for the ultimate as well. So I don't really agree with increasing the cooldown. It's just gonna make her, I mean, non-viable. Especially with Axel in the meta now. But alas. Moving on, for the ultimate, the speed boost granted from running on the pucks dropped by the working ball has been replaced by a sprint boost. Will no longer speed up all movement, just when sprinting. We also get to Valkyrie. Valk. The note is Valkyrie is becoming one of the top pick legends and has been performing really well over the last few seasons. We're making minor adjustments to help assuage frustrations and manage her climbing pick rate. We understand this doesn't address other aspects of the kit that are strong, but we're continuing to monitor match data. Will make additional changes necessary. Alright. They remove, for the passive, they removed the recent improvement, which allowed her to land faster from skydiving. And that's it. For Conduit, the note is since necessary. Conduit spiked up to the top of the pick rates and remained at the top spot several weeks later. We're so excited to see that players have really felt improvements to Conduit's supportive agency in playmaking potential. However, we recognize that she has been a key enabler of legends that push the meta in an extremely aggressive way. Additionally, her dominance crowds out all the other sub-legends, which makes sense. She's the only character that can add value in team fighting, and not just after someone dies on your team after a fight. Well, yeah. Making an obvious pick. Finally, she was present in 8 of the top 10 most popular team compositions. All of these indicators point to an unhealthy balance state, and as a result, we want to take steps to slow things down a bit. And for the upgrades, instant barrier on the level 3, increased reading duration from 4 seconds to 6 seconds. For the tactical. Increased cooldown from 27 seconds to 30 seconds, which is kind of meh. For upgrades, enduring barrier no longer grants region through ring damage. All of those like tactical and upgrades was from the hotfix a couple of days ago, and the only new things for this new split 2 is the increased cooldown and the enduring barrier, which, you know, no longer grants region through the ring damage, which is good. I feel like being in the ring and living is not Apex gameplay really. You need to be in the zone, play the game, which I feel like is a good thing. I don't know. I feel like this change really wasn't necessary for Conduit. I mean, it was a kind of a niche character as it was. Sure, it's used very much, but it's a support character, and it's the only support character that works in the real game, in ranked and in pubs, because there's only fighting, and ranked is really bad, so there's only fighting. So I don't know. I don't really feel like the changes they have made either like completely goddess her as well. So I think it's gonna be a viable character even with these changes. They also made some changes to the weapons, loot and attachments. They decrease the amount of ammo for the hemlock. White mag from 21 to 20, blue mag from 24 to 22, purple and gold magazines from 27 to 25. Yeah, I don't think. I mean, it's gonna be fast, but not that much. They increased the handling speed for the Mozambique and EV8. And for the hop-ups, they have introduced a new one, Executioner, available on Peacekeeper and Mastiff. And it grants, when you knock an enemy, it grants 50 shield generation over 10 seconds. I would have liked it more if it were over 5 seconds, but 10 seconds, the fight can be over in 10 seconds. So I don't know how much value it will add. But that one anyways is 375 points to unlock. For the dual shell hop up, they removed it from Mastiff. The disruptor rounds, removed it from Peacekeeper. Graffiti mod, removed from Longbow. Wingman and Mozambique, Longbow, Enjoyers, devastating. And they added the graffiti mode to Flatline and Bolt. And they added the turbocharger to Nemesis. 600 points to unlock. And as you guys know, there's already the charge up for the Nemesis, where you get more damage, or the fire rate increases. Pretty sure it increases. Yeah, more damage anyways. So I don't know how that will go, how insane the Nemesis will be, but interesting nonetheless. And for the maps, the map rotations for these seasons, Stormpoint, World's Edge, and King's Canyon for pubs, which nice. For ranked, Stormpoint, World's Edge, and E-District. Rage! Let's go, man. Where we've been asking for years, man. Feels like, anyways. Goated map rotation for ranked, and it should always be this. Stormpoint, World's Edge, and E-District. Nothing else. Just those 3 maps. All the time. Let's go. Some mixtape rotation changes, some welcome changes, don't really care. Ranked ladder, who cares? They removed the champion squad screen from ranked, which is... I will talk about this for a second here. How does it matter? How does it matter? They're explaining here why they removed it. They making the argument because information provided on the champion shop screen is set by the players. It is prone to be misleading and often results in increased player frustrations. For who? It doesn't matter at all. The only scenario I understand is if a plat player gets in a pred lobby. And that is a matchmaking issue. Something Respawn needs to fix. It's a matchmaking issue, not a champion squad issue. I feel like this change is just to hide the sometimes dog shit matchmaking in ranked, and how the rank system is just dog shit overall. So I don't know. Ranked changes always makes me tweak. So bad. They never seem to dare to make the right changes, even if it's will get critiqued for it. And when they don't do anything at all, they will get critiqued anyways. So to make a W change, there will be some critiques for it as well. But anyways, there's some bug fixes as well. Some quality of life changes, you know, out of bounds issues and lighting issues and some things. They increase the deathbox respawn sound when you res. So it's more increased in volume and audible for radius for enemies, which is a W. But that's about it. Pretty long video today, but hope you guys enjoy it. And I'll see you guys in the next one.